Good morning, everyone. Happy e-learning day. I have posted a video here of the 6-3 Explorer that I gave you last night for homework, so I would like you to check over your answers here with this video. So the first question, or the first step, is about the Jackson family. They examined their belongings to find out if they were increasing or decreasing in value. So for step one, it says that Ryan, the son, has a collection of baseball cards. This year's card collection is worth $10. He was told his collection would double in value each year. So the first question is, what's the start value for the collection? And the answer here would be 10. This year would be year 0, and it's how much it's initially worth, which is $10. Constant multiplier is 2 because it's going to double in value each year. For letter C, the exponential function then would be y equals 10 times 2 to the x power. Remember that 10 is the start value and 2 is the constant multiplier. Letter D asks what x represents in the situation. X represents the number of years that have passed. And then letter E asks what f of x represents. Remember, f of x is just a fancy way to write its function notation for y. So that would be the total value of the collection. So then in letter F, we're going to plug 6 in to find out how much his collection is worth in 6 years. So 2 to the 6th power times 10 is $640. In the next step, we're going to talk about the family car. The car is currently worth $16,000. Each year, the car is worth 0.9 times the value of the previous year. Because that constant multiplier is less than 1, we know that the car is going to depreciate or decrease in value. Letter A asks to write an exponential function to represent the situation. So y equals 16,000. There's your initial or start value, times 0.9 to the x. In this situation, x represents, again, the number of years that have passed, and f of x, or y, is going to represent the total value of the car. Letter D asks how much the car will be worth in 4 years, so we're going to substitute 4 in for x. 16,000 times 0.9 to the 4th power is $10,497.60. Flipping it over to the back, Shaniqua, the mother, listed the predicted values of her diamond earrings over the next 5 years in the table. The first question is, how can you determine the start value when looking at a table of values? So in order to determine the start value, we need to find where the input is 0, and then the output will then be your starting value, and in this case, it is 100. Next, we're asked what's the constant multiplier rounded to the nearest hundredth. So here, that's determined by taking any output value and dividing any output value by its preceding output value. And remember that in the climb the ladder activity yesterday, they have to be consecutive. So if this table were to have jumped from like 1 to 3, then we would not have been able to do 119.10 divided by 106. Has to be consecutive. So in this case, this table is consecutive. It goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We don't skip any input values. So you can take any one of these outputs and divide it by its preceding output, which means the one that comes before it. I did 106 divided by 100, and I got 1.06. The function then would be y equals 100 times 1.06 to the x. And in letter D, we're asked how much will the earrings be worth in 20 years. So we're going to substitute 20 in for x. 1.06 to the 20th power times 100 is $320.71. This is a rounded answer. If you don't have a handheld calculator at home, you can be using your cell phones. I know on the iPhone, if you turn the calculator sideways, you do get some options over on the left-hand side that aren't visible initially. If you're using that X to the Y button, on the iPhone, it's the 4th button in on the 2nd row. So in order to get that 1.06 to the 20th without having to type 1.06 times 1.06 20 times, you can type 1.06, then hit that X to the Y button, and then type in 20. So you're telling it, take the number 1.06 and raise it to the 20th power. And again, that answer, that number, this amount, this dollar amount that the earrings will be worth is a rounded answer. The calculator is $320.71, and then behind that is a 3. So the 3 keeps the 1 from rounding up. Finally, in the last step, Lindy, the daughter, determined that the value of her movie collection was modeled by the equation y equals 150 times 1.2 to the x, where x is the number of years from now and y is the new value of her movie collection. So 150 represents the starting value of her movie collection. It's how much it's worth now. And 1.2 is the constant multiplier. In step B, or letter B, you're asked, what does 644.97 represent in this situation? And that is the value of her movie collection in 8 years. You can see that 8 was substituted in for X. Step 5 then asks you to write your own exponential function in a corresponding real-world scenario that is represented by the function. So when you write your function, remember it is in the form y equals b times m to the x, where b is your initial or starting value and m is your constant multiplier. So when you're filling out step 5, please make sure you identify what b and m represent in your real world scenario. Okay, so that's it for the Explore. We will turn this in when we return to school.